to stage 1 of VCT EMEA. We're coming to you live from the Riot Games Arena in Berlin, Germany for another day of Valorant action. I'm your host, Yingsu, and I'm joined once again by Kakuka and Minnie. We kicked things off yesterday. How are you guys feeling about everything? You excited for today?
Yeah, absolutely. Yesterday we got to see some Icebox. I expect to see some Ascent today, and I want to see if somebody's going to play Waylay.
Oh, you stole my point already.
Oh.
Yeah, I chose Minnie, Boo, and Floor, right?
Yeah, and Martine. Martine was a...
No Martine,
yeah.
but we got an opportunity today for...
Yeah, to get one wrong. To get one right, sorry.
Yeah.
I think you might get both. I think you might just get both. But let's talk about yesterday. You mentioned the Icebox already. Also, the new face. What did you make of Vitality's new player?
Oh, yeah. I think that there was a lot of expectations and a lot of conversations on how this one was going to go. And actually, it looked like it fixed the... I don't want to say issue, but definitely the concern around the roles. Seabuff playing for the first time in a very long time and barely played controllers before. A great show and no nerve seen on the stage on his first day.
Yeah, I think that he played brilliantly. And I think for me, I was a bit worried seeing a roster change from Vitality. You kind of put a question mark there, especially dropping a player like Trex, who's obviously phenomenal. But they've come back and looked like the same Vitality we saw in Kickoff.
And what did you make of Casey's comps yesterday?
I mean, I've not been a fan of Casey's comps for a long time, so I think that I can't keep...
The narrative continues.
I can't keep hitting this dead horse, you know what I mean? So yeah, I'm a bit worried for them.
For KC?
For KC.
Yeah, I mean, I think definitely after the bind is gone, now we see them peeking onto the Icebox, and it was still too close to be for Comfort and BBL having that turnaround game. So, of course, they managed to get the first win.
Of course, as we can see the group standings here right now. If you're Vitality, you are just full chilling. But also to remind you guys that if in the scenario of a tiebreaker, it will be dealt by head-to-head and then map difference and then round difference. But Kakuka, the round difference here is pretty stark in Group Alpha.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, obviously in the BBL versus KC, we did go to that third map and whatnot, but starting off the league with a -15 for the side of Giant X, finishing on a 13-2, I believe that was on that second map on your pick on Lotus. It's not a good sign, you know, it's not done, but right now it doesn't look the best.
It doesn't indeed, but hey, it's a long season, and we have more teams that's going to be in action today, starting with Heretics versus Apex, followed by Foot versus Koi as well. Do you have a alliance here? You know, are you Spain? Are you Turkey? Are you France? Like, what is it, Minnie? What is it? Because you know I'm Turkey, you know she's Spain, so... well, are you France then by default?
No, I don't have alliances.
You don't have an alliance? Okay.
I want good Valorant. That's my alliance.
We can win him over. We can win him over. We have plenty of time. And speaking of time, it is coming up to the 5-year anniversary of Valorant. So we're going to bring you guys some throwbacks every single Thursday. Look at this beautiful wall behind us. A lot of great memories. Minnie somehow making it into 3 of them. So well done. I don't think we've ever been in this back horse, so that's an achievement, Minnie. Well done. But today I had the chance to catch up with Avova and take a trip down memory lane. We can't possibly do a Throwback Thursday without one of the veteran players in all of Valorant, especially here in VCT EMEA. Avova, welcome back to this cozy setting. Now, I don't know if you are aware, there's a lot of things happening today. There's a lot of anniversary we need to address. Of course, you will be playing Heretics a bit later. Yep. But it is the 3-year anniversary of you qualifying to Masters Reykjavik in 2022, pretty much to the day.
Yeah.
Do you remember who you beat to qualify?
I don't remember, actually.
You don't remember who you beat to qualify? Luckily, we have some footage I want to show you, and maybe you can tell me if this brings up any good memories or not. If you take your eyes over to that screen. Do you remember now?
Liquid?
Mm-hmm.
Honestly. Oh, yeah, now I remember. yes.
Yeah, what happened?
I mean, I feel like we were kind of underdogs at this point, like with the new roster, with Meta and Hoodie. I don't know, a lot of stuff has been happening, and I just remember being so happy winning with this roster.
Yeah, because you beat Liquid, and then you had to play Fnatic next, and that was like a really big rivalry back in the day, right? G2 Fnatic, that was a big deal. And then you got to play FPX in the grand final. Unfortunately, you didn't win that final.
Yeah, I remember their Icebox. Like, we had the best Icebox at that point.
Yeah.
I remember FPX just went with their new comp, some KO, I remember. And we just got destroyed, I remember that.
Was that the Pips and Icebox? It was Pipson,
I mean, we
right?
had Pipson, yeah.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
was when you win A like 13, 12 rounds in a
probably,
row.
yeah.
Over and
I
over.
mean, we had a really good icebox. I think we had, maybe I forgot, but it was like 14-0 or something like that.
It was
And we
very
did
good.
pretty good. Like, we had a long win streak, and people couldn't figure it out, and then FX destroyed us on this one.
Everyone's copying you too, I remember. They were
Yeah.
copying what you were doing. Could you tell me a little bit about the difference between G2 then and G2 now? Because a lot of people watching might not remember the G2 then.
I mean, the G2 then, I don't know, it was just vibes. Especially the first month, it was just full vibes.
Yeah.
Like, we have Cold Immense and Killox with us. I don't know, we just had so much fun. I kind of missed that time, but yeah, you move on, you know?
And what was it like to travel to Iceland as well back
was
in the
amazing,
days?
yeah.
Yeah?
I don't know, I want to go back there. It was so nice.
What was your favorite thing about going to a global event?
I mean, going to this Blue Lagoon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what Sky Lagoon or
Not the
whatever.
games, the Blue
Nah, not the
Lagoon.
game, still Blue Lagoon. We got like a season pass and we went there like almost every day. It was so nice.
Do you remember the games at all? Do you remember when you played Zeta?
I don't remember it too much.
Yeah?
I mean, those times were pretty rough in the team, I remember. It wasn't that fun to play, but I remember playing against some Asian team. I don't
Paper Rex. It was Paper
Yeah.
Rex. Yeah.
I
And
probably got destroyed.
Loud as well. You played against Loud.
Oh, Loud I remember. Loud
You
I
remember that? What do you remember from that game?
We went into the game thinking, yeah, we'll destroy these guys. Like, we didn't know them back then. Loud wasn't that big. And then we got absolutely destroyed, I remember. Yeah.
And lastly, before I let you go, what are you looking forward to the next 5 years of Valorant? It's been a long 5 years already.
New controller agents, please. I'm so tired of playing Omen like most of the maps and then one Astro map on Pearl, let's say. And yeah.
All right, I'll
I
call
wanna
my
play
people.
something new. I want to play something new.
I'll call my people.
Yeah.
I'll sort that out for you. I'll sort that out for
Thank
you. Thank you very much, Avova, and I really hope to see you win more tournaments in the next 5 years.
Thank you so much.
And of course, for Avova, it's G2 Avova, then Heretics, then G2, then Heretics. Now he gets to play against Heretics. A lot of things going on. So let's talk about Team Heretics, because Kakuka, Boo had some words to say. So what do you make about his takes on Twitter, his tweet?
Yeah, exactly. We know that there's been some mix and match here with the teams. Some players coming in from other regions, some players from some teams going into other teams. And Boo went on Twitter and said something, I think pretty generally, after seeing just after kickoff that teams were already making changes about what is it about not staying together instead of chasing instant results. And I wanted to ask Mini about this take, actually, because to me is a bit brave, but I want to have your thoughts on this.
Mini, is EMEA in shambles?
Yes.
Because of
I
this?
think that there's a balance here.
Journalism.
Yesterday on the post plan, Yampi said that teams that made changes at this point of the season messed up their off season. I agree with that take, but on some level that if it's not going well, you've got to make a change. Unfortunately for Boo, his team last year did phenomenally all year, so you never have to think about that. And I think this is a bit of a, if I was a coach for his team right now who's not doing so well for the first time, you know, if they don't do well this stage, like, you do have to start thinking about these things.
So it's a luxurious spot they're in your opinion. But this is the thing, though, they didn't make any roster changes, but perhaps maybe role changes you think could be necessary?
Yeah, I think that at the beginning of the year, we were expecting to see the Team Heretics that we saw throughout almost the entirety of 2024. Yes, getting a lot of second places, but always making it to those events and having very, very good showings. And yes, they managed to win their couple opening matches, and then kaboom, absolute silence. We saw them, and even at the beginning of kickoff, they were feeling sick, and they even had a better showing than in the games that mattered the most.
Yeah, let's talk about the role changes, because we do have Mini Boo and Vud, of course, and a lot of people feel like they can maybe both play the duelist, maybe one of them can play the duelist. Mini, where do you stay for this?
If you're going to put Woot on a duelist, like, my take on it is that, like, if you're going to put Woot on duelist in this team, then Munibu has played duelist too and has a double duelist angle.
That works.
But I'm not hot on double duelist.
Okay,
despite-
you will keep with Mini Boo.
I would keep with Minibu here. If Woot becomes a duelist, it means Minibu's got to go.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's okay. Fair.
Wow. Okay. I think that there were some questions that we have with the roles. We heard them say that Wood was not a fan of using lineups and whatnot. But of course, I think that the concern is about comfort, right? And Minibu did not look comfortable in kickoff. Everybody thought that, well, at least their take was that Neon was not good anymore, and they removed her from many of their compositions, almost all of them. But now maybe after they've seen some things, and probably internationally, they've changed their minds.
Well, this is the thing, though. On the other side, Apex, they did did make a change. I don't think Boo's tweet was aimed at this, you know. It felt more general about EMEA. But of course, for Apex, they bring an import all the way from VCT Pacific. We're going to treat him good. We're going to treat him well. Don't worry. None of that America's rubbish we're going to do. We're going to treat him well. Of course, Governor coming in to replace Hype. Mini Governor's been around for so long. I'm sure you've watched him play many times, right? At this point.
I haven't watched Governor play that often, to be honest with you.
Oh, I'm going to tell Heck.
Badly. Yeah.
I'm telling Frost this. I'm running and telling Frost this instantly.
I'm an Americas and EMEA enjoyer. I don't watch Apex.
He played in Americas.
But he played in
Tier 2 in Americas a lot.
I'm excited for him to come.
Yeah.
But like, you know, I haven't watched him that much.
His former coach, though, gave him a big vouch. And Kukuka, we know Hector.
Yes.
He likes to talk, but I believe him.
Oh, yeah,
I trust him.
Absolutely. I think he has very strong takes, but I really like people when they're strong-minded and they're very decisive with what they say. They really believe it. And I want to see how this shapes or reshapes Apex. They did not have a good showing and kickoff, and they have a lot to fight for this year.
They do indeed, because we will show you guys in just a moment what is on the line. But before that, a Governor, Mini hasn't watched a lot of him, but I have, Governor. I've got your back. A phenomenal player, a very versatile, like you saw Hector say there. And also, for the people that don't know him, insanely experienced, because despite playing in Tier 2 in Americas, he didn't just play, you know, 1 year of Tier 2, 2 years of Tier 2. He played over 400 officials at this point, one of the most experienced players we could have had. And I think his agent pool kind of tells you that story.
Yeah, exactly. But we see a lot of duelists, right? And when we think about Apex, probably that is not something that they currently need. Maybe they reinvent the meta and we have like 4 duelists or something like that. And Mini has a stroke, whatever.
Bring an APK
but
over
I want to see what is the new frontier going to be for him coming into EMEA, and definitely is going to mean a change, at least for the last couple of years.
And I wonder what this would mean for our favorite duo. I say I'm sure yours as well. Our favorite duo, of course, Batu and Floor. Blore, who played very well on the one map that we did see them play together, and it left a lot to be desired. This is a duo that I'm very excited to see again, Mini, after what we saw at kickoff.
Yeah, it was kind of unfortunate we only got to see Batu over the 3 maps, and only once on a duelist. And it clearly worked to have Floor and Batu on the duelist together. Like, my take about Heretics not playing double duelist, I think it's more likely for Apex, and I like it more for Apex. They're the kind of underdog team that needs to take a risk.
You can just say Blore. You can say Blore. You don't have to say Batu and Floor.
We're making Blore happen.
Over and over.
Yes,
yeah.
It is happening already. But yeah, I agree with this. I think that it's a very small showing, as you're mentioning. Apex only played a couple of matches, and in one of them, Batu wasn't even there. And what you're saying, we did not see the double duelist at its full extent. But if there is something that we need to be hyped about this time around,
I see what you did.
Is actually seeing how they can use the double duelist. And now they have all the tools that they need. Even if there's a duelist they don't feel like having, they also have a Governor to fill in if needed.
Yeah, and I also want to confirm, because I've seen a lot of whispers about who is going to be IGLing for this team. It will be Mosey. Governor, he has a lot of experience in that department. Maybe he can contribute down the line. But from speaking to the players on Apex, it will be Mosey leading the team in stage 1 at least. You mentioned the stakes earlier, Kukuka, because it is pretty scary if you're an Apex fan.
Yeah, exactly. So as you know, the 2 teams that ascended to VCT EMEA are also at stake of losing their spot this year. For them, making champs is the best that could happen. If you make champs, you have your slot secured. If you make top 8 in stage 2, you have to fight in that Ascension tournament. But if you miss the playoffs in stage 2, you are instantly relegated. So every single point, especially for that top 1 of making champs and just laying back a little bit, it really matters to both Apex and Gentlemen.
Especially considering Apex's group, Mini. It's not the easiest for them.
I think it's kind of like, if I'm the coach of Apex, I'm thinking that top 8 is what I'm aiming for. Making champs with this team, I think is borderline impossible. I would go for that top 8 and maybe see that BBL Pacific team in the qualification.
Well, luckily you're not the coach, so we can maybe see Apex at champs. Get them to champs. But it's time to welcome a brand new face to VCT EMEA, and welcome back to returning teams. It has been a while, and what's up all of the VCT Pacific fans that might be watching right now and supporting Governor. It's time to bring Team Heretics, and bring Apex back onto the stage.
Check my pedigree, I got legacy in my
Welcome to EMEA, Governor, and welcome back, Heretics and Apex. I think the one question on everybody's minds is what new things can we expect from both of these teams and how it could work, especially with the map vetoes.
Yeah, exactly, because now that Ascent is back,
Split?
Wait, what?
Split?
Steve, I was going to make the point that Team Heretics spent the entirety of last year banning this Ascent is somewhere that they did not want to go, and both of the teams during kickoff were banning that split.
Yeah, they both banned split. Like you said, Heretics were dodging that Ascent harder than I dodge my X. And Mini, at this point, it feels like they must be bringing out some nice things, right? There must be something new.
Yeah, I think I want to make the point here that this kind of map veto for Heretics is setting them up for like a good run. Like I think the banning the Pro, which is both teams' good map, signifies one of two things. Either they're very confident in their 7-map pool, or they know that Apex isn't a challenge here, and they want to make their Ascent and Icebox look good for a deeper run.
Oh, wow. That's a risk, though, no?
We're in such a good place right here, because with Heretics not banning the split, they might think that Apex was going to double down and that they were something that maybe they didn't have to worry, or a map that even if it was not banned, it was not going to be picked by either of the two. And that might have been a twist there. But also Ascent and the Waylay conversation that we were having, if we think about maps where she could be used, I think that Ascent will be one of them.
I also want to say, because of what I'm saying about Heretics taking that risk, this is a very nice veto for Apex. I think if you're coming into a split and you've got 2 fresh maps coming in your first match, that's a perfect opportunity to, you know, go close.
I completely agree with you, especially when, like you said, it's an Ascent that Heretics, there were things they were amazing at, you know, the Sunset, here and there, all of the other maps they could do something
them to
with.
The Icebox.
Yeah, me too. I was also expecting maybe they would go towards the Icebox. Icebox will be map 3. If the world is, like you said, Mini, they want to test their things, they want to get reps, they want to solidify their game plan, I think it's a little bit risky to do against Apex. I feel like the biggest risk you can take is underestimating these group of players. And let's not forget, despite their result, Floor was insane. Yeah. Floor was absolutely phenomenal, and I would not be surprised if we see a Waylay instantly. And congratulations, you got something right.
I got one right. I am very happy.
Not only that, we're also going to see Multi going on the deadlock. Remember, the changes that we've seen on the agent makes it even more viable. So going in for the double Sentinel on this one for Apex, I absolutely love it.
Yeah, it's that tier 2 NA that we've been talking about coming in from Apex. And Heretics have a very standard approach though. No Teo at all on both sides. That's a bit surprising to me. No Vice. Bit of a surprise, but the deadlock, I love her.
I like seeing Woods on the KO. I think that is comfort for him. We're also mentioning him. I think that the big breakthrough has to be for them too. We know that Rians is going to have a good game. Boo's also on a comfort role. Benji for the same. But it's them two, is Miniboo and Woods, that we were discussing of, and that we need to see breakthrough today because it's one of the biggest strengths that this team has.
I think specifically about the KO, it's a very good agent against the double Sentinel. Like the deadlock's there trying to find net traps to like trap into either of the mains. If the KO can just knife the deadlock out, it's a pretty good counter.
Are you surprised that neither of the teams have gone for the Tickle?
Yes, I think that Teo is very good on this map.
What would you, if you were to put it, for example, in the Heretics composition, what would you take out?
What would I take out?
Do you remove
the Sova. The Sova.
The drone?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
But the problem is that Rians hasn't played Teo at all, so it looks like they're not going to lean into that kind of idea.
Well, we'll have to see the rest of the maps, right? Because Ascent has been around for such a long time. I think that it is more that first impression of kickoff and the maps that we had there that probably have seen the bigger effect of it.
Yeah, and I just want to quickly mention the fact that it's Batu playing Cypher. For me, I think that's the last role that we would have expected him to be shifting it on. Floor, of course, has played Yoru plenty of times before, even on this map too. So it does feel like they must have some kind of priority there. Batu could be on his Alpha Year arc. I see them as very similar players in a sense that they could do these things. They could frag. And I'm excited to see the synergy here because I'm assuming they will do the Ratty, Deadlock, Cypher stuff together. Maybe Batu and Mosey playing on the same side. They're starting on the defense as well. So there's a lot we can expect from this comp.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the head-to-head between Floor and Miniboo. Floor on that Yoru, and we know what she can do with the operator, how well and self-sufficient she is. So seeing also Miniboo with that Waylay, I want to see how she deals with the situation.
I can't wait to see it, honestly. I'm just so glad that Mini was right. Mini called it off the bat. Yesterday with Martin, a little bit unlucky, but we have the Waylay on Miniboo. I'm sure at some point we'll see the Waylay on Floor as well, but this Miniboo versus Floor head-to-head is interesting because I firmly believe Floor really has what it takes to
and thrives under
potentially,
pressure.
you know, to potentially diff Miniboo here as well.
Yeah, absolutely. They know the Team Heretics are one of the titans of EMEA, regardless of what happened in kickoff. What happened in 2024 is what must not be forgotten. And this is the kind of team that will find what they need to bounce back.
And I like that Boo was on Omen. You know, we didn't even have time to really talk about the other things they were experimenting because this is comfort Mini. This is maybe what we want to see from Team Heretics.
Yeah, Wood seemed pretty good on Astra in kickoff, but I think that putting the IGL on the smokes is the correct decision in my opinion. I'm a big IGL smokes guy, so I think that makes sense.
You're going after Molsey, is what you're saying?
Molsey's never really been a smokes player.
Yeah,
so.
but also Avova's on your team, you know, you can't be nicking that off of...
but make no sense. I was
off
just
of
going after
Avova.
him.
I also want to quickly mention Benji too, because this was a player that Mini was one of, if not the best player in his role, and at kickoff, he struggled a little bit.
Yeah, he didn't have a... I think even himself, he would know that his kickoff wasn't a fantastic one. And I do wonder if part of this Cypher pick is because of his maybe lack of comfort around the Vi, so maybe he's just going to play into comfort more. But yeah, we're going to see him step it up, I think, for stage 1.
I can't wait to see it. Very, very exciting. We get to see these teams finally play Ascent and send this over to your casters. Here's Mitch Van and Tombiz.
Thank you so much, Yinsu. What a game lined up yet again, Tom. Apex stepping down on that stage, Governor in the lineup. There's going to be a lot of questions. When we look at Heretics, I think the expectation can be set plainly. They're coming in as the favorites here today.
Oh yeah, I don't think there's any doubt. I think the one map we saw Apex win last time around has been banned, so almost a respect ban. That's the way I look at it, because Heretics I think were 2-0 on Pearl and decided to take it out of there, so clearly fearing that double duelist setup, but we sort of asked it whether or not we're going to see Batu back on a duelist or what the new role will be. I think Sentinel is a good fit. Give him the utility to set himself up, fight, be that isolated player on the site. I think that can work nicely for them. And also Governor coming in, that little bit of extra experience over on the Initiator. The main excitement, though, is the agent that, unfortunately, you can't see, but that is the Waylay. The Waylay is in play.
No, it's caught the graphics department by surprise. Of course, little bit of a bug on that HUD, and we'll work on it as we get through the game. We didn't want to keep the game from you folks at home, though, so we'll dive in anyways. But, of course, Miniboo playing the new agent Apex on the defensive side. And there's a challenge already. The paranoia is going to be used up, and we see the refract. This is Waylay's teleport to go back into middle where he's ready for the fight. Miniboo with the double keeps this in Heretics court. They have lost the spike, but I don't think that space is going to be easy for Apex to hold on to, and indeed they concede it. Heretics walk freely into this A site.
And a light speed being utilized. I'm just excited to get to cast a Waylay, honestly. I think we've seen a lot of this between a lot of difference of opinions, but when Jorgamo tells me that it's better than Jet, I believe it's better than Jet. Benji, well placed, already going to take one, does so much damage, they don't even know. They don't know a second player's there, a 1-2 punch, a little bit of depth to that little corner, and Heretics going to start things off strong with a pistol.
Yeah, very strong start indeed, and getting to show off Waylay's utility belt like that as well. Of course, the dash that we saw, but that refract just as Miniboo comes out of that teleport. He's ready to fight, and you even notice dodging the net that had been thrown out as well. Purely coincidental timing-wise. The double stack up towards the window as well. Never going to be expected, and whoever called it, Benji's certainly happy that that's what they went with. 1-0 for Heretics, and now they come in with a stacked up buy. They've got a lot to work with, but still, Benji's going to be playing the pistol. There's a Stinger on Wood and a Marshall as well, so a couple lighter investments for Apex. Taking advantage of that will be very difficult with the classics.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to be on the table with the Deadlock. Obviously, you see the early usage now of that grab net because you get it back. It's on a timer. It's now the signature ability. The wall is no longer that first throw. You don't get it for free as well, though, so it's a little bit more expensive. But also the sound cues. Everybody's going to hear those sound cues when somebody's caught. So that's the big thing. That's why you're going to see Mosey immediately throw that at the beginning, similarly to what we see from Teo and the Salvos. Use it immediately, then have it back later in the round. And well, In this round, expectations were basically nothing. Not much invested at all for that defensive side, as they'll save to make sure they can purchase in the next. And for Heretics, it's all about keeping it clean.
Yeah, and realistically as well, it is clean so far for Heretics. They've only lost one player, that was the Ghost. So there's still a margin for error. Apex will look to, presumably, I mean, a lot of the time you're going to play exits. Running back into that site with 2 pistols, you're not winning those fights 9 times out of 10, but if you can isolate a fight, maybe. Unfortunately, though, that player has been tagged up but able to flee to the rest of the squad. They know there's one behind. Question is, will they give the opportunities to Apex to capitalize? For now, oh, there's the info. Both spotted. And then this is the problem. Maybe they would have went that way to exit. Now they know there's 2. There's no reason to give them free fights, and Apex pretty much left with no choice but going down to the spike.
Yeah, it seems like Boo maybe looking to pad the stats a little bit, or has some crazy ideas with the From the Shadows, which I don't believe. Nonetheless, it is just going to be keeping the majority of those weapons, and the remainder going down to the spike.
He got an assist. He threw a smoke in to get his 2 assists off the kills.
Is he like VLR stat padding? Is that what?
He's literally throwing a smoke in to get 2 assists. I mean, that's ridiculous. Look at the scoreboard end of the game. Oh, got three assists in the first 2 rounds, guys. Freebies. 2-0, and this is really where the game begins. Apex buy up their rifles. This is where everything is going to come to a head. Team Heretics don't have as much, right? We've said those weaknesses were there. There were some slightly lighter investments. Those are still present. Your Stinger alongside your Marshall. Some opportunities for Apex. The problem is that Heretics on the attack, they're going to group as a clump and approach this one together. The rifle on Benji Fishy after him going down. He's made that little extra investment. Their credits are still very healthy for the next round. So the main thing here is Apex shouldn't really lose this round. And if they do, it cannot be clean for Heretics or the economy will get out of control.
Immediately using the saturate and then diving in towards the position he threw out. I don't know if Governor was caught, but he's definitely gone down. And now already the rest of the team are actually planning on going on the other direction, expecting there to have been rotations, but the paranoia lets them know that at least Avova is still here.
It's nasty, man. Waylay solo entering into that site, using the saturate to stun up and slow Governor. And well, he was not ready for that fight right up in his face. I'm not even sure if he was caught possibly switching through utility, so it obviously takes longer to take your weapon back out. Fluorescent picks up 1, needs a little more in this position, but the spike is there. It'll entice them back. But Heretics are able to pick it from just around the corner. Batu now, the one with the pressure mounting on him, his cage used. They'll know that he should be around this back side and look to clear him together. Around the side, Rians gets a wonderful angle, and the plant can now be acquired by Heretics. Spike on the site. Apex might look to get in quickly, disrupt them while one player is busy planting that, and yes, it'll work out for Fluorescent. The trade quick though. Miniboo, tagged up as he may be, he's keeping this team in it. It hasn't been clean for Apex as we said it needed to be, and the round might not even go their way. It started with Miniboo, and it ends with him too. 3-0 for Heretics.
Yeah, I feel like that was a misstep towards the end of that, just not checking that close corner, especially on a player who I believe Miniboo was very low from this fight. There you go. Yeah, it does catch. So it's so difficult, as you said, swapping back, not even going to have the gun out in time. Almost managed to correct, but that's the power of that ability. I wonder if they even waited for the dart to be shot.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, did they have the timing of when it was coming online, and or just... Somehow it can't be off the sound cue. I mean, I think the saturate was already thrown. Godlike timing.
It's a rough start. A bonus round victory is going to send this defensive side down to very little utility. They're trying to bait the idea. Oh, dear. Oh, already using the teleport. What? What? How did, I don't know how Floor gets away with anything there. Caught by 2 pieces of utility. And actually, the shock dart's going to do so much damage. They were caught originally by that grab net. That's why they haven't left this corner. And obviously the sounds can be heard. And that's enough to give another kill. Already a huge advantage picked up in terms of personnel, but no weaponry retrieved.
Might also be why, I mean, obviously the spike is down, but Heretics could commit to this A fight just because they don't want those weapons to be retrieved. There's the information, and at least find its way into their hand. They've got a trap for behind them here on A, and a cam still watching out on middle. Again, they see they've got a free path to the site. The door needs to be closed. Avova won't take a risk. He's going to wait for his teammates to come to him. But as a result, Heretics get themselves a plant. Now, I said the trap behind. They're about to walk into it.
They're going for the guns.
Heretics won't be able to deny them those weapons.
Yeah, that's the main thing. It was a full push all the way around. Didn't challenge on those fights because they knew the weaponry would still be in position, and Heretics realized that they've got to try and pick one of these players apart. With that flank coming in, they look to run back through that smoke. Benji is very well placed for this. Is there going to be any utility to bait them out of position? Doesn't seem like it. Instead, it's the peak. But the IGL of Boo is going to take that fight. TP's almost into the open, but doesn't take any damage. And Avova is so desperately low. Eventually, Boo will close out around the... Maybe should have looked a little bit easier, but they got the job done anyway.
Well, I mean, Fluorescent got the opening pick. She was stuck in wine, caught by the KO knife, so she couldn't TP out, and somehow gets away with a kill. Gravnet ends up taking them down with the shock darts, keeping them, they're already kept in position. Shock darts doing damage, finding one shot through the smoke from Avova for another. I love the idea here, by the way. Heretics with two players on site, they realize one's coming behind us. They've drone, all right? They've drone behind us. That means there's probably two there. So they use the paranoia on Tree and try to push instead. Oh my goodness, Miniboo will give them no moment of rest. And with the refract, this is why you always have the chance to just bail out if the initial fight doesn't go your way. Teammates filling in the space, but Avova, there to punish.
Or the Gravnet. Actually, I think that was the sensor. It's caused them some issues, but managing to get out without too many problems. The convergence path ready. Potential to stun up, but I love that. Gravnet used as a counter. They hear that it's connected, try and spam, but don't manage to get the damage. And now they're going to try and swing back in. However, things are turning all the way back. Avova with a quick double, though. And it falls apart, left onto one man standing once again. A second attempt at a triple. Actually, the time is ticking. They need to get someone onto this spike relatively soon. I think they're good.
It looks like it. Big round from Avova, holding strong. I think we saw some good play in the round where they just had a Sheriff, but now that he's got a rifle in his hand, able to deal the damage right back into his opponents. And it is, the refract got them out of the initial engagement. They filled in the space on the back of it, and it looked like sight should be lost, but Avova steps up for one, and again denies this aggression. So I said last round, they used that paranoia. It landed on Avova, and he instantly repositioned, avoiding any sort of a punishment on that. And that gave them a real chance in the late round. This time, well, he took those chances by the horns. 4-1. Apex really needed that win early on as well.
Good thing as well is with the 4-0, normally you'd expect a crazy amount of credits after losing a single round, but because it was only one surviving on the prior, this is pretty much everything there is for that Heretic side going into the next. Drone used over top to at least get some info, and actually, no, Governor immediately going to try and pop that Hunter's Fury and has managed to avoid them like the plague. That is unlucky.
Especially when they're caught in such a narrow alleyway. But yeah, they've just about managed to dodge every burst of that ultimate. Early aggression from Apex with ults put in, get nothing.
They're playing for the from the shadows. That's what it is. Boo can basically just rotate around the map, and if they find an opener, he can TP back to where his team is. This is something you can't normally do with the spike. There is a little bit of a worry that maybe someone pushes. I'm looking at Fluorescent with deep control in B. It does seem like at least the initial plan was to sell an idea over to that A site. And it hasn't worked too well. Still 2 players towards B.
Miniboo goes down, no boots on the ground, no response from the side of Heretics, and alarm bells are ringing. Apex realize this might not be the commitment, and now they've seen players move into market. They know that it's a B hit, but Fluorescent is still ready and waiting. Batu with another, that's off the reveal, straight through the wall to Benji Fishy, and Governor emerges from the shadows to close out the round. Apex, they were trailing, and it was looking like Heretics may run away with it, but there's still some fight left in that other side.
2 rounds already, and as I said, that's now the economy reset. The one thing that is going to be available, or at least coming online, is Heretics ults. Other than obviously what we saw earlier with the Waylay ult, the convergence path has already been utilized, but everything else is either online or one away. That is a nice clean round though from Apex. This will keep their economy in a decent spot. Operator's still going to be in hand. By the looks of it, going to invest a little bit more than expected. In fact, Miniboo and Riens are going to come in with rifles. The same for Woot. It's definitely not the prettiest of vibes, but always potential with this squad.
Shrouded steps being heard outside A. They have to worry about wine position being taken. Quite a calm composure to this defensive side, mainly due to that push-up that they've got. Fluorescent holding deep into the spawn, but it's a jump peek. They expected it. At least they were worried about it, and for good reason. Early pick denied, and a drone sent out again to push Fluorescent off the angle. Great respect being given to that operator, and to that player in general. And Team Heretics, well, they're not going to continue their push in that avenue. Again, they've been quite keen to grab a bit of map control like we're seeing here for Benji Fishy, and then send it in the other direction.
I'm liking these combos. I feel like Mosey has just been irritating with his utility so far, and potential to throw a little bit more in. They have managed to get to the site though, and this puts quite a bit of pressure onto Avova. Maybe not, just swings into the smoke, and now the rest of the team look to arrive. A single kill is all they've managed to garner on the Heretic side. 20 seconds, Woot. Well, at least he has the spike, but that won't last long at all.
No, I mean, he was spinning around there just looking for anyone. A third round now for Apex, just one behind, and the defensive side really starting to shape up nicely. He talked about a 4-0 lead for Heretics and how you'd expect often to see the economy stacked on that side. Well, after 3 in a row, Apex are looking pretty healthy. That operator's been causing issues, and despite Heretics avoiding a lot of those early dangers, they're still running right into the trap that Apex have set in the late round.
Nice.
It's a pause called out by the side of Heretics after a strong start. They need a moment with their coaching staff.
Yeah, I think the main worry will just be how clean those rounds have been. They haven't really made much of a mark. I think that a lot of the early fights that they've taken had potential. I think that Miniboo has already proven that the Waylay has value just with that ability to dash into such aggressive angles, but then also you can just get straight out of there with the refract. Like, that's the main benefit of this agent. The problem, though, is, well, firstly, getting into that A side has been tough because Avova has been fantastic. Like, this has always been the thing with Avova. It's like, I feel like when he's in form, he's one of those players who is a bit like a Sentinel in the fact that he's just unkillable. Like, he's always in the right position. He's very good at giving up ground when it seems impossible. But then also, if there's a spot on the map that the team needs to hold for a retake, he's going to stay and hold that spot. Like, he was completely stuck on his own underneath the balcony in the last round. I believe he survived the whole round. So that's an Avova special. I don't think we've seen it as much in recent times, but if he can get back to what was peak Avova, which definitely feels like a while ago, this team now becomes a lot more dangerous than what we were expecting coming in.
There's always a special place in my heart for an Avova Omen.
Ninja Diffuse. You had the word Ninja Diffuse. Oh. There's been about 15 of them.
It really does just have a different identity. Every game he plays on it, and indeed, here, there's been good decision-making, there's been big individual performances. Fluorescent not going to find the opening pick, but Benji's down to 5 HP. Might be a little consolation as the push comes in towards this A site. Lots of players from Apex here and ready to go. Malzy's got his utilities ultimate online as well, with 3 players on the site outside of him. This is not going to be an easy push. The smoke buys Avova.
No.
They haven't seen it, but eventually he will be spotted and taken down. They know the spike is here, though. Everybody's on their way from Apex to reinforce this A site, but that's a lot of targets for Riens, and he will pick up one. A 4v3 and a plant secured for Heretics.
I don't know how Benji's alive. They used a neural theft, and he was under the balk on 5 HP, and somehow has managed to dance his way out of there. Evening things back up, and there we go. It was bound to happen eventually. Turning things back into an even spot. Annihilation thrown through, which will grasp another. Mosey has been fantastic, catches them, but they always seem tough to clear out Boo. Eventually the job is done. The ult will close out the round. Mosey from the grave. A Governor is going to bring things level.
Governor's looking pretty good with that Odin as well. I got to say, I'm liking what I'm seeing. Should have listened to Frost. 4-4. They're tied up, and Apex, well, they've got a couple of heroes. Avova's had some good decision-making and big individual rounds. Governor's showing up. Fluorescent has just been a nightmare in those early fights. Always applying the pressure. Still, though, despite Benji going down to 5, he ends up being the one dealing with Avova. He ends up surviving down below and buying that little bit of extra time. It's impressive. It's not enough.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Neck and neck.
Oh, 4-4.
Flashbang.
Expectation has been there for a while that the defense is where you expect them to thrive. Well, Miniboo, it doesn't matter if you can rewind time, you have to be alive to do it. And unfortunately, the last few rounds, that has been anything but the case. These very direct rounds just seem to really play into Fluorescent's hands. If you're going to try and run into angles with maybe a single flash, she will avoid it, and she will take you down.
I think they've seen that Fluorescent was pushing aggressively in B main and just hoped that they could catch them while they're setting up for that control, but clearly not the case. With a different stance from Apex, they're ready to receive the blows from Heretics and deal back that little bit more. Now, the attacking side, 3 pistols left alongside Rienz's rifle, seem to be looking for a bit of space towards the A site. They've left a lurk outside of B, and the whole round, Benji's been looking for opportunities on A main. Ultimately, Apex aren't giving any. A very passive hold, and now with the wall going in from Deadlock and the op keeping B main control, it's very difficult for Heretics to find any space that isn't locked down by that defensive side.
Oh, and they are just running one by one into Fluorescent's operator. Finally, they'll take her down, but it seems too little too late, although it does get a little bit more interesting. If they can clear Batu, maybe they have a chance, but he's been sitting pretty at the back. I believe that was a dink through the wall. In fact, the shots are doing a lot of damage, but they're revealed to help. And Molsey there to make sure it doesn't get out of control. After a 4-0 deficit, Apex, they have the lead.
Yeah, even got their op back as well, so economy going to be bolstered even further without that big investment. They're looking good, not just 5 rounds in a row, but big economy control, opening picks looking good, and Heretics maybe running out of answers. We've already seen them call 1 timeout, and things have not improved since then. But that last round was a lighter investment. They had the rifle on Rienz, but pistols backing it up. That's why they went for the more direct approach on B main, overwhelmed with numbers. But Apex, again, they were not falling for that. They weren't stepping into the trap. Now, though, rifles come out.
Yeah, I think the worry as well is, I think now Miniboo hasn't had a kill for quite a few rounds. Those openers have been going completely against him. Again, they go for this direct approach, though. The rest of the map has been cleared by Fluorescent, but already, as the rotations attempt to come in, they have been slaughtered. A quick double opener for the side of Heretics, and maybe they're hoping for a little bit of Fluorescent magic to get them back into the round. I'm also just looking at the position of Benji Fishy.
In the spawn. It's not the usual spot you'll see being held. I mean, I suppose it has the potential to really catch you off guard and leave you scratching your head. Apex have split up as well. Oh, well, never mind catching you off guard. I think they know that Benji's pretty close at this point. It's whether Apex are going to go for this. I mean, they've got credits and even a Vova coming close to max, but the fact that they're split into different avenues, they're not being given picks. They've now lost Fluorescent as well, and time is ticking. This is turning into just exits. They're going to try to wall them in. They're going to try to keep them inside of main and make them go down to the spike.
That's gorgeous.
That's nasty.
That's gorgeous.
Oh, man, take the round, but we'll take your economy.
That's got to be so infuriating. Just forcing them to try and run through the tiny gap that they broke, and if they do, they actually end up dying to Molsey, which you don't want to feed the annihilation. So that's really rough at the end, but the double opener was fantastic. Like, this was the thing, the swing from Batu and the timing, if it was off by a millisecond. But yeah, this was the thing. It was a combination of the grab net as well, and there really wasn't any space for them to run away. Oh, interestingly, Apex are going to be the ones to take a pause here. After winning 5 rounds in a row, losing 1 to what was basically just a very fast double opener from the players that ran towards the B site. That's enough for them to try and cool things down, maybe noticing a couple of players being a bit over-aggressive, because you do have to bear in mind, they are on the defense. If this comes 6-6 or even 7-5 in Heretics' favor, even though there was a streak of rounds, they are not going to care.
I think you especially have to be aware of the fact that in those first couple big rounds, it was Heretics finding quick opening kills. It was being Apex being caught off guard by the Waylay utility and how quickly they could close in that distance. And I think now you look at the previous round, same sort of early sign, getting blitzed, losing it in a flash. And so it's a good idea to take a step back and make sure in the next 2 rounds, that's not going to be the case. They had 5 in a row on that defensive side. Still room for this to be a decent lead moving into the next half, but well, I'm quietly optimistic that we'll see something nasty coming out of Heretics in these next 2 rounds. Rifles up, Miniboo and the squad mostly around this choke point. We could see a very direct hit from Miniboo.
Or they're going to try and do another combo. That was an attempt with the grab net. I don't believe it connected, but it doesn't matter. Governor's got the opener and connected onto Miniboo. That's a lot of early damage. We mentioned those picks at the beginning of rounds seemingly incredibly important for either of these sides. I don't think we've seen many rounds turn back on their head from that opening point. And once again, they're just running into a trap every single time. Even still, though, there has been a catch onto Avova. That's been a rarity.
It's a big pick. Pressure might be on for Batu to find him. Oh, the cross! Never mind! Fluorescence there with the op. The collat puts them well ahead at 2v3 for Heretics with the plant coming in. And Apex all together walking out of heaven. Abu couldn't even come out to trade. He was caught by the Gravnet. And now as they go for the defuse, it's a high-low setup. Governor down below and Batu up top. Clean stuff from Apex. And the advantage is now theirs.
This feels like another one of those games where people will go to the end of the game looking at, as like a scoreboard warrior and go like, why is Malsey even on this team? He has caused someone with a crab net. I don't even want to say once a round. I think every single round it's a multi-catch with that recurring utility. And every single time it's been an irritation, be it wiping half the squad. Like he's 5-9 and 5. You go, no, he's not really playing that well, is he? He's been fantastic. And I do think a lot of it has just been general irritation. Like, oh, I want to swing with my I'm stuck. Oh, I want to get out of this. I'm stuck. Like, it's just frustration. And while that'll be Apex now taking the lead after that slow start. Riens will have the Hunter's Fury, the same for the Convergence path as well. The problem is the guns.
I think the main thing is that disruption Malsey's been bringing, but now the ultimate is online for final round. Someone from Heretics is probably getting put into a cocoon. We shall see. The A side is currently the target. Fluorescent not here with the operator for the early pick.
Find out.
Governor very much ready to go. The ult put through by Miniboo, diving in at light speed. It's an easy opener, and a Saturate catches one. Oh, Miniboo's on a tear, but he's stopped by Batu. Finally put to bed, and with the ult connecting from Malsey as well, those picks coming right back into play alongside weaponry advantage. But this could have looked a whole lot worse for Apex.
That's the problem. No one else was able to follow Miniboo and where he went. And because of that, the guns have not been retrieved. Malsey, that's actually a lot of damage off the shock dart. I think it might have even caught Batu as well. The net catches one. Removing Riens from action is going to create an even bigger problem playing these close angles. They know exactly where both of them are. Benji, however, has done well. Even still, though, the guns have not been retrieved, and Benji is the last player standing, looking to do it all. Oh, well, over. As we mentioned, he is a man known for his style. He'll close it out with the shorty.
Well, it's his own smoke that gets him both those kills. Off the reveal, he can spam through for one, and, well, the jumping shorty is a little bit of a different flavor. 7-5. After a strong start from Heretics, they put 4-0 up, but struggled to get off that starting block. We'll see how the second half goes after the break.
One enemy remaining. Last player standing.
Welcome back, folks. 7-5 in favor of Apex as they move to the attacking side. There's been a lot of good things to report home about. Avova early on was coming out hot to the touch. Fluorescent with early picks on that operator, and now moving to the attack side. I can't wait to see it. And then Governor, well, he's certainly impressed here on the EMEA stage, but plenty more work to be done. This is, after all, Heretics map pick, and that means Apex chose to start the defense. They found their 7 rounds. Now it's time to put their attack to the test.
Yeah, that will always be the more interesting thing. I think there's still a lot you can do with the deadlock, with early aggression, denial, and especially when your opponent is running a waylay, which can basically get up in your face for free. I think the potential there is massive. Speaking of that, already this is going to be a brawl, and well, that's not gone great for the side of Heretics, although, well, Rienz has made it palatable.
It's not the end of the world. Spike moving in the other direction. Should be an easy 3-hit coming out from Apex. Batu down to 13 health. Stray bullet could take him down, but it will be Benji Fishy who has to deliver those shots. Has the cam still, has himself a safe trap as well, so they can't get close without him knowing about it.
Here.
That could be the difference.
Benji Cypher setup. If he doesn't get 2, I'm disappointed. Like, that's how good my expectation of this guy is.
He knows that trap's covering his left, so he's only looking at the right, and Tommy's got 2. Let's see if he can find that third. Avova knows where the other player is now. He's seen the paranoia come through and realizes there could be some more utility waiting for me. A trap around any corner, so it's time to move to the A site. It looks like Heretics will stay safe on that B, so the plant should be acquired by Apex, by Avova. He's had a pretty damn strong start to the previous half.
And he loves the A site as well. So that's the thing. This now shifts. You're walking into Benji's setup. I'm all for Benji. You put Avova in a clutch. I'm not going to be the man to doubt him. I think I think he expects them to be a little bit closer than they actually are. This is a slower rotation. Definitely wary on that Heretic side, but it's Avova. He could be anywhere. He could have pushed forward. We've got to clear everything methodically, take our time to clear these back angles, and in the meantime, he's just sitting on the side.
I still have cam as well. There's a big deal. Benji getting that back online. That's a beautiful angle from Avova. He'll pick up one, almost a second. Halfway on the defuse, though. He'll go into clear, and it's Avova with the Red Bull clutch. You hit the nail on the head there, Tom. The shoe is on the other foot.
Sometimes you get lucky. No, this is the thing, like even the one-way smoke he uses, that's a one-way smoke for main. So that you can even see that immediately, they walk into the site, they see that smoke, Boo goes, okay, he's main. I'm gonna put my smoke down, and gets killed because of it. Like that's just Avova playing my game. Look, he's literally has a smoke in hand, ready, because like, well, I can't get killed from here. He is in main. Like this is just, he's such an intelligent player in the way he gets into clutches. Amar Governor is learning the Avova way to play the game. It's like you put him in those moments. I'll also say, I love you, Benji, but you're trying to ninja defuse versus Avova. Like it might be the last player on the planet that I would attempt to do that against,
guy,
because
pal.
He is the guy that does that to you.
I love that. Governor, first time at an Avova clutch. We've been here before. Oh, but that's a beautiful reaction. Pausa Technica down on the stage. League officials investigating. Hopefully we'll have the game back underway any moment now. But coming off the back of that pistol, Apex got to be in high spirits. The fact that, again, you know, like I said, first half, Avova showed up in the early rounds. Not that he quieted down too much. My guy's 13-5 at the moment. He was barely seen by the enemy team, except when he was putting them down.
Well, the reason he slowed down was because there was maybe 2 or 3 rounds in a row where people just ran into floors up. So it's like, oh, sorry guys, I'm not killing them on A because they're all dead on B. And if they got past Fluorescent, they were in Batu setup, which was very similar in a lot of rounds. It's like, I'm in the back of the site, come get me. I have Turkish aim, good luck.
I'll say, top fragging with half the deaths or close to of anyone else on the servers.
When they went A, he didn't die.
He was showing up. A big clutch from him. And again, you know, I think today is a day of favorites. It's a day where Heretics and Foot, if you ask the majority of fans out there, it's expected to be a 2-0, expected, maybe not blowout, so it could be competition, but Apex already showing up more than most
Goodbye.
people might expect on Heretic's map pick as well, and that pistol could be so valuable. We know when the rifles come out, it's going to be a different face to Heretics, but this is a real chance for that attacking side to be leading 9-5 before that happens. And then, well, it's a much closer game than anyone thought coming into today.
Oh, for sure. Like, I think even taking a map would have been optimistic, like especially when you maybe ignoring kickoff, although like Heretics still managed to get like one game away, but it's more so, okay, who were they last year? Okay, Champions finalists, a Masters finalist while playing with a standard. So this is a squad that has been so ridiculously close to greatness. This round though, well, it's a ruse. It's a pretty hefty ruse. They've thrown quite a lot in it, and I'll be honest, I think that was at least one player having a gun. Yeah.
Both.
Oh, no, both players
The
had a
Guardian
gun. That's a
and
weird ruse.
Yeah, I'm gonna be left scratching my head. Maybe we can commission Mini on the desk to do a little telestrator on the deeper thought behind that. But we can see the result.
Or he'll do
Heretics.
his classic hand motion.
Yes. Well, Heretics have now got 2 rifles, and even with Benji going down, it's immediately picked up by the next man on the block. The chopping block, by the looks of things, is Apex. Pick up every kill from that point forward. A quick trade back from Woot, but that is all there is to report home about. There were some big dangers there. Arming the Heretics to the teeth is a bold move, but, well, they managed to find the round nonetheless.
I think they still lost one rifle, so it's more costly than they would have liked. But yeah, they basically end up just sending a couple of players into the stack. I think the plan is for Fluorescent to immediately gate crash if they run into something like that, and then they only lose one gun, but that didn't happen.
I saw
so.
Fluorescent trying to put a gate crash down while on the site, though, so
Okay.
it either wasn't there or was destroyed, ran out of time. It's quite quick, though. I don't know. It looked like a messy one. That's probably going to come up in the VOD review, but especially against an eco. That's in a normal round, we could see that, but a lower buy. Heretics had a chance. That chance put to bed, and now the rifles come out from the get-go on that defensive side. Apex saving their money for the next round. That's the first thing. Expectation isn't that they win here, but they're still coming in with 2 Guardians and a Vandal. Not to discredit Batu or Governor with a Sheriff. There's a lot of opportunities.
Yeah, especially with the way a lot of these rounds have gone. Very close clutch moments, and Apex have been fantastic in a lot of them. But now at least
Take flight.
both teams a bit more tentative, patient in their manner. I'm pretty sure the top of the hat was spotted, so I don't think Rians is going to be moving anywhere anytime soon. And the control in middle is much deeper. Like, they've actually put the trip on the door into mid, so they can get maybe a bit further than expected. Nonetheless, it's going to be the reverse, straight back to A.
30 seconds left.
Fragments caused issues. Paranoia is connected, but Fluorescence jumping into empty space. Fluorescence in heaven already. Fluorescence running around on the side, but has been flanked out. Minibu gets here just in time, but needs to find a little bit more. The refract used just to bail out. 12 seconds or so. The plant needs to go down, and it will.
10 seconds
Committed
left.
to by Governor. Post-plant utility. Malzy 1 away from an ultimate. 1 kill for Malzy, and this round could flip on its head. For now, Heretics seem to hold the advantage. You can even see utilities being put down with the sound sensor. It ends up catching Governor, but he's safe down below. 4 now, there's the kill, there's the ult, and it's bounced off the wall perfectly. Only 1 player left, and Benji's being spotted and dealt with. Well, for anyone criticizing Malzy earlier on, that ought to shut you up. 10-5, double the rounds of Heretics. Apex on their opponent's map pick. They've come to play.
He's having a fantastic game. Like I said, even when he was, what, 5-7 or
5 and 9. 5 and 9.
It was still a great performance, but now adding the kills in to the mix, and that's the thing, I feel like on the attack, you can have a lot more of those setups. Okay, I want to clear this angle with this piece of utility. I want to force this person to fight me here, but this was just a late round clutch that basically, well, Governor was an additional observer in that clutch. He's just kind of chilling, like, oh, yeah, these are the guys I've joined. Sorry, I didn't know your game.
That's actually why Malzy put the sound sensor there to stun him so he could get the kills. Like,
exactly.
People are going to say I'm underperforming. Watch this.
Watch me.
Yeah, watch me, bro. Get the drone out. Do a little third person.
10-5, though. They are now firmly in that driver's seat. After being 4-0 down, Heretics have won just a singular round since. And it's not like they've been without opportunities. That was a 3v2 clutch where the round started with them having better weaponry. Now their opponents sit after winning the bonus. Plenty of cash in the bank. In fact, even the ult economy after using one is still further in their favor than the other way around. Can Heretics pull something out of the bag here? There's going to be an aggressive push into mid. But you can see that the way Apex are playing, they're just grouping up, wanting to make sure that if anybody does catch them, it's likely to only be a trade.
It's a very deep setup from Batu. I don't think I've seen a trap there ever, really. The cam as well backing him up. So much control for Apex in the late round. But the problem is, yeah, it's not the back they need to be worried about. They're running straight into the pistols. And Team Heretics are ready to fight already, claiming 3 kills. It might be going back and forth, but Governor's left on 6, and there's still a player on site. But the shots missed from Boo, and that could be a missed opportunity. One that Heretics would do well to claim at this point. It has to be Woot to make it happen. And oh, information. Both on the site. Look how quickly Governor's repositioning after being caught towards the back of the site. Now he looks to catch him off guard, and well, the timing will be everything. Woot has an idea, had an idea. The pistol's out. He's cleared it. 1 shot needed, and he'll find it. Now down to just Avova. Just Avova, right? In a clutch scenario, but it's Woot. The rifle, but no idea where his opponent has gotten off to. There's the spot from Avova. He knows exactly where Woot is, and his 4th kill of the round. What a game this has been. From Apex on Ascent, from Avova as well. He is 19. The guy's died 6 times so far. How has he only died 1 time since we brought this up before?
I'll say as well, I need to see if there's any correlation for who gets to have like a chill hangout with Yinsu in the early parts of the day and how well they play in game. I wonder if it was just like he was so zen coming into the match.
Too powerful.
I don't know. I think we need to test that. Maybe people will start investing money into getting to hang out with Sue for the start of the show. I won, but
could be.
maybe
You're not gonna.
No.
Our cast gone down the drain. Just like that, playing your hand against us. A timeout here from Team Heretics. 6 rounds behind on their map pick. And yeah, maybe Apex are the GOATs. It's certainly looking like it right now. Neilzinho and Weber dishing out the strategies, the solutions. From this point, even a well thought out game plan is going to be difficult to reliably put up rounds. Apex just need 2. And with the rounds they've had so far, that does not seem very unlikely.
But that's the thing, coming back into stage 1, obviously both teams have had a long time to prep and sort of change up what they've been running. Sure, a late-ish addition to the Apex squad and Governor, but I imagine they've been shifting a lot of their roles for a while. Batu prepared for that Sentinel call-up, but that's the thing. Even though this is the map choice of Heretics, it's hard to tell if they will have had that same amount of work put into Split, where that sits within the strength of their map pool, and the same for their opponent, whether they got it right. The series won't be done at a single map loss, but it will be a statement. Because I think coming into today, I could admit myself, I was expecting 2-0-2-0, and I didn't expect Apex to have a map.
Well, if this is going to be the flavor of the day, then Koi fans are in good hands by the looks of things. Apex certainly are. Into this round, Bova and Governor, the 2 with their ultis online for that attack side. And Governor's been firing out those Hunters, Furies, not with the greatest amount of success. Saw that complete dodge by Heretics around middle in the first half, but here on the attack, even if he's not getting hits, getting kills, it's clearing angles for the push. And if someone like Fluorescent has less angles to clear, well, you're in a lot of trouble. For now, though, a Deadlock utility all serves as a fake. They took presence, they fired out their util, and that has gotten a pretty significant rotation. More passive mid-hold, and the movement from Rien's towards the right side of the map. But Heretics quickly realized this is a ruse.
Oh, wow, and it's not going to matter. I don't think they realized how far forward Badu had already got. That's Miniboo just swinging into an angle, unprepared. They walk back into the Benji Fishy setup once again. 13 seconds, and he needs to try and hold the line as long as possible. Spike being planted will swing into Molzy and meets the same demise as his teammates. Woot can't find anything, while Boot it comes down to a point of just holding on to the guns. A relatively clean take of that B site right at the depths. Oh, wow. Seems like Apex, at least at this stage of the map, have got it in the bag. As said, since they got their first round on the board, there has only been one round on the board for Heretics.
The 4-0 start for Team Heretics. Like, it really felt like they had full control. The Waylay was catching Apex off guard in the same way it did our graphics department. I think that for Heretics to slow down like that, it seems so out of character. It's very unusual to see, and I think you can only sing the praises of Apex for being able to deliver these death blows every round. Even here, like we say, the read was there from Heretics. They realized, oh, this was all a ruse. They shifted back to their old setup. But the small gap that they left had been filled in, and Batu was waiting. 12-5, 7 chances for Apex to claim Heretics map pick, and what a start to the season this would be.
Oh, yeah, and then you look at the purchases coming up for Heretics to try and defend this one. They need to win 7 rounds in a row, and it's starting off while only having 2 primary rifles in hand. An aggressive push is going to be immediately taken, an attempt to try and use that Waylay ultimate. The reveal's fantastic. That setup couldn't have gone much better, and to be honest, the player they've taken out has been the bane of their lives. Getting rid of Molesy with how much setup he's had for that squad, that's not bad.
It's not a bad opening pick at all. Apex have a little bit more. Can dig deep. Players like Avova, hard to kill all game long. B-side under threat this time around. It'll be Avova lurking out on A, and the spike isn't committed just yet. You know, Apex haven't been hyper direct. Even if we do see that ult from Fluorescent, it could serve as just a piece of information, a drone almost. Zavova looks to find that space on this side of the map, but now they have an idea that he's here, that the surprise won't be there. Let's see if that affects the outcome.
They're playing this one very slow indeed. 40 seconds left on the clock. Batu not only taking space, but this will give a lot of information if they were to run on those rotations, but instead Heretics are walking their way through. Holding that ground as Batu looks to try and make that pressure into mid. A kill onto Miniboot could be everything. Spore is going to be able to almost completely clear the site. The timing on that swing though, and in fact they swing it together. It looks all but done. It's only going to be Boo standing other side of the map. Spike will eventually go down, and well, it's up to the IGL of Heretics to try and bring them out of what seems like an impossible scenario.
It seemed like Apex were fighting against the odds, but now it's Boo who finds himself in that position. Creeping his way through heaven, well, quite loudly breaking the trap, and the players he's fighting, their phantoms, they're disappearing. And now his vision's gone, and look who's right back in. It's Fluorescent with the 3K to close this one out. 13-5 from 4-0 down. This was utter domination from Apex.
Well, I think most of us will have come into today expecting a Heretics 2-0. The fact is that script is out the window. We'll be back after the break to break this one down.
Too powerful. Too powerful. Every round is powerful.
Red Bull gives you wings.